got this other platform to work. We are now live. So now I'm live in two places. We're live on the Family Money Farm, but we're also live on Tom's Facebook page. So it's going to be interesting. We'll keep this going, and the radio station is taking news right now, so they're sharing the misinformation of the world. And so that's the communication world, you know. I always ask, they always have the fact checkers, you know, that's supposed to make sure that the information that they're giving you is true and accurate. And who checks the fact checkers? So I see Dana. Hi, Dana. I see you on there, and I see we've got a whole bunch of people following today. There's Eddie Crow. And so we're on the news, and guess what, Eddie? I got my other. Look at my new platform. You like my new platform?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the new platform, and I finally got it working, and I figured out what I was doing wrong.
What were you doing wrong?
Well,
you didn't look like you were doing anything wrong.
I have it automatically goes to different platforms. So I go to YouTube and I go to Facebook.
Oh, okay. But
it also does LinkedIn, but somehow it keeps telling me I'm not set up for video on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go check that out. And what I was doing was I was clicking on LinkedIn, and it kills the program because it won't go live over there. It keeps coming back. It's like it keeps recycling.
It's like I'm going to try again, which shuts it down.
So I finally looked at it. I said, "Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button," and I got it working. So we're live.
I'm impressed at his office. He has a green screen.
Oh, you like my green screen?
Yeah, you got a green screen like a weather girl.
Right on, man.
Oh yeah, because I can do this on the green screen, you know, and I do this, you know, because the signals. I see. I have no green screen here. You're black, so
you got a green. Wendy Bell's got a handwritten.
We haven't our picnic this year since COVID's.
Do you have a green screen?
No, I'm asking you to have your picnic this year.
Have a green screen.
No, the picnic. No picnic.
Have a picnic on the green screen.
But we are doing the Christmas dinner dance.
All right.
So you and your lovely will be invited to that, Frank, and so will Eddie. And
I gotta bring her. I wanted Eddie to be my date.
I'll be your plus one, baby.
I want to run a ladder out of this, and it'll be.
We won't go on that subject. You know, Frank's date is Eddie. Okay.
We're very comfortable.
I'm comfortable with myself.
Just point. Promo or whatever, a bump out.
I'm gonna do the 10 seconds. So when I run the ladder, it's 10 seconds.
You do whatever you want.
Okay. See, I brought all these notes, Eddie, and I haven't used any of them.
Yeah, here comes the ladder.
I think we're having fun though.
I'm gonna stay out of the way and
3, 2, 1, go.
Teleforum is the program. Tom Young is the guest. Tom Young of First Consultants. This is being live streamed on our Facebook page. That's Beaver County Radio. It's being live streamed on about 15 of Tom's different platforms and pages. And before the break, we were talking about or just started to get into, what was the term? Poverty thinking?
Poverty thinking.
Okay. I think I got that because I've lived in poverty every once in a while in my life. I've been close. How did they convince me that was okay? Because that's what it sounds like.
Well, you know, think about what has been said to us over our lifetime. You know, be satisfied with what you got.
Be happy for what
you have. Be happy for what you have.
There are some that don't have that.
And you know, it's funny when you talk about that. And I did some research, and I've got all this stuff off the internet. And here's some sayings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I work so hard and I still can't make ends meet.
I just paycheck to paycheck.
I'll never be able to afford a vacation.
Right.
I'll take what I can get for this project, even if it's not my full rate. You don't understand what it's like to struggle. It's the story of my life. And you know, I've talked about this in the past, but self-talk is so important. The things that you say to yourself determines in a lot of ways what you think. And if you think negative, then everything is going to be negative. You know, I got a bunch of quotes here.
Is self-talk connected to self-worth? I mean, that's got to be part of it.
How do I build my self-worth, Eddie?
Right.
How do I change my image of the person looking back to me in the mirror.
Right.
And-
That's
and-
a tough thing. If you
it-
don't like that person, that's a tough thing. Or
You know,
if you
if-
think that person's struggling, that's
know,
a tough thing.
we did a book last month, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck.
Hmm.
And we've done several books now, all the way back to the very first book last year, Think and Grow Rich. I'll think of the title of the book, Think and Grow Rich. And actually, I'm getting advertisements now. They're actually making it into a movie, a self-help book, a personal growth book, the greatest book ever written in my mind, short of the Bible. Excuse me, But as far as
Good job
personal
getting that
growth,
in there. Yeah.
personal growth and success. If you aren't willing to buy that book, actually it's free online. You can get it online. It is free.
So if you're not willing to
Think and
spend
Grow
30 seconds to download it,
That's right. And read it and actually do the exercises that Napoleon Hill tells you and advises and shows you and gives you examples of. So there's nothing hard about that book. What's hard is making the decision that I'm going to be different tomorrow than I am today. And that's the decision that everybody has to make. Are you, I'm okay. I'm okay. You're okay. We're all okay.
Yeah.
Well, then stop your
you
itching.
stop your squawking.
Stop your itching, and so it really is what it is. And if you read books of successful people, isn't it interesting that the common ingredient of all these people, they made a decision in their mind. They went forward and stopped the negative stinking thinking that many of us suffer from. And I'm not, there's days that I have stinking thinking, and I fight it every day when I have that.
And that's
because
those
we
moments,
have challenges.
That's those moments of, man, this is tough. I can't do this.
And you gotta suck it up. Now, how do I do that?
Yeah.
You have to get up in the morning, and I don't know what your regiment is in the morning when you get up.
A
Okay,
cat stomps on
I
my
have
head.
my regiment that I get up and do every morning.
What time you get up?
I get up usually between 6:30 and 7:00.
Okay.
That's my time up. I get up, I go into the bathroom, I throw water in my face, do the whatever's
The morning
necessary
stuff.
that morning. And then I put on my workout togs and I go to my basement office and I have a 5x10 mat on the floor and I turn the computer on. I look at the headlines on a couple of the platforms that I follow and see what's going on. I turn on the television on my desk. I have a TV there, and I put on the news to catch the weather for today. And by then I go to beachbody.com, which is a website with exercise programs.
Okay.
And I
That's your morning.
I have laid out what my exercise. This morning's exercise was X3 ab ripper. So that was 22 minutes of 11 exercises, all focused on abs. Yesterday morning was upper body, eccentric upper was the title of the program. And it's 35 minutes of push-ups, pull-ups, weights and everything, but it's isometric in terms because you go 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3. In other words, you slow way down.
Build.
And there. And so my regimen is every morning. But at the same time in the morning, I get done working out and then I get in my shower. It's in my office. I have my own shower down there. And I step into the shower. I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment. And I here now promise to render such action. I know the dominating thought. You get the idea? I have a self-talk. And I say that to myself.
And that's scheduled.
In that tone. In other words, it has that kind of meaning to me. Now, what have I done so far that you all couldn't do?
Well, lifting
Nothing.
the weights, yeah.
They're dumbbells, Eddie. They're 10 and 12 and 15-pound dumbbells. I think you could handle that.
Is that that moment that you talk about deciding, and you have that little mini version every morning to decide?
Well, I
did say, this, Tom. People will say, I'm going to get up every morning and I'm going to work out, and it'll last 3 or 4 days.
Well, see, here's the other issue.
Okay.
What's your reason why?
Oh, the motivation for wanting to work out.
What is your reason why?
I got
If today was your last day on earth and you knew it was,
right,
what would you do today that would be different than any other day?
I would continue to not work out, for one, because I wouldn't want to waste the time. That's a really interesting way of looking at it.
If you knew that today was your last day,
right, how would you spend it?
what would you do? Now, Another thing that you have to do every morning, and I do, is I usually jot down a couple of notes about today. What am I grateful for? Write down 3 things in the morning that you are grateful for. It could be your kids, your grandkids. That's mine, and
Right.
I'm grateful that I'm healthy.
Right.
Henry Ford said it best: if you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right.
Yeah, that's
You know.
80%. I'm convinced that's 80% of life.
And thinking makes it so. So we have to make a decision. Do we want to make it different? It's your decision. I can hopefully I do every day what I do with the belief in my heart that somehow someone out there listening gets inspired because of what I talk about. Somehow, some way, one person at least, their life starts to change from today forward. And I have people right now. We've got several people on here right now, and a couple of the names I know, and some of them I don't know. But here's one here. Thank you so much, Dad. But I know this name. They're either from Pakistan or South Africa. And every program I start every day starts with a prayer for everybody in the world, because we all need prayers today. The world is coming apart, and we need prayers to help stop that. I don't.
No. Don't,
This is,
wait a minute. What are you sorry for? That's a wonderful thing you just said.
No, I'm not sorry in any way, shape, or form.
Don't be sorry for saying that.
I want to get people moving. We people need to stand up and stop what the politicians are doing to us. It is the elites of the world, the Bill Gates, the George Soroses, and all these people in the world that want one world government. And in order to make that happen, they have to turn the world to socialism, so we will all become little puppies and follow along whatever they suggest to do.
Do you really believe Americans are capable of being turned into puppies?
I think some of them are.
I think
some of them are,
right.
But I believe there's an underlying quiet, silent majority
Mm-hmm.
that I would refer to as patriots.
Okay.
That eventually, when they get forced into the corner, it's going to go crazy.
What's going to be the force of the corner? Because everybody seems to have their own breaking point where they,
what's going to be the
it's
force?
all I can stand.
Well, the government's coming to your door tomorrow, Eddie, and force you to sit down and stick you a needle and put this vaccine in you.
Yeah,
they're coming to knock on your door tomorrow.
That's not going to work.
So when we have politicians in Washington that are supposed to be leaders, all of a sudden imposing their will on us,
right,
in the way that it's happening right now, that there's going to be a breaking point somewhere along the way. It's just going to happen, and there are people that just aren't going to put up with it anymore. And there's other stuff going on that I'm hoping and praying will come to be, but it's not me to judge that.
Good things.
That there is potentially real good things happening.
Okay.
And whether it's going to come to be, I don't know.
How much of the human psyche wants things to get better, and how much of the human psyche wants to watch things
I believe deep down
blow
inside, people want better.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe inherently all people are good inside.
Okay.
And how do we bring that out? A little word at a time, a phrase at a time, whatever, to get somebody thinking. A prayer. God is still in charge.
Yeah.
And I believe America is God's project. And his project is in trouble. I had a conversation when Mr. Trump got elected president. I'm not going to talk good, bad, or otherwise, but there were a lot of people that made nasty comments about him, that he was the devil and all this other stuff. And I got in a conversation with a friend of mine who was a very Christian person, and I said, "Now, look, can I ask you a question? Anywhere in biblical history, did God ever get angry and do bad things? I don't know. Can you see CNN and MSNBC on the deck of the ark?
Yeah.
While in the people are in the water drowning, and the news media is on the ark reporting. Now, I don't want to go there, but just in your own mind, imagine what the reporting would be like. Now let's go forward a little bit further.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, this crazy cloud comes over the city in Egypt, And in the morning we wake up and everything, animal, human,
Right.
the firstborn of everything was dead.
Right. That sounds
Well,
kind of dark.
You know, you can take that for whatever you want, but there are times in history where things had to get righted. And I'm not predicting that now.
In an
I just,
extreme manner.
Extreme manner.
What?
And I believe we right now in America, we are at the tipping point of that extreme manner.
Does the extreme manner need to occur in the economic world, in the political world?
All the above.
Or the world?
All the above, Eddie.
Yeah.
All the above. Because there are too many people in leadership that have their own agenda, and their agenda is no longer the good of the people. In my opinion, and I know there are a lot of people that have that same opinion, you know.
I want to argue with you, but I hadn't found anything that's really set me off yet.
We become what we think about all day long. Who said that?
Perception is reality.
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah, perception is
We
reality.
become what we think about all day long.
Yeah.
Change your thoughts and you change your world. Norman Vincent Peale. You know, change your environment, connect with positive people. You just have to make choices in your life and what we're talking about. And this poverty mentality is actually input into our thinking. Back to those 4 rules of the financial world. I want all your money. I want more ongoing. I want to keep it forever. I want to give back as little as possible.
Yeah.
And that treats me, well, now they're treating me like I'm a little puppy and I can't make my own decisions.
Right.
And most people, a lot of people, they're unwilling to do what's necessary to learn, to gather the information they need, to know the right thing to do.
Is it willful ignorance, they don't want to learn, or is it just not knowing what questions to ask, or is it somewhere in between?
I think it's all of the above.
Okay.
It's all of the above. And I've got a bunch of things here that self-talk, you know, things to say to myself every day. My income is constantly increasing. Now that's a thought in my mind. My income is constantly increasing.
Okay.
And then, you know, you got this little angel and the devil on your shoulder. You got the good guy and the bad guy on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, what are you saying that for? You're never going to be any different than you are today.
Right.
Hear those words? I mean, I've had all of this in my life. And to get where I'm at today, I feel blessed by the Lord above to be where I'm at today. And maybe have the influence that I have with people.
Mm-hmm.
I get some beautiful letters from people and notes from people that just keeps me encouraged in what I'm doing. So somehow, some way, you know, we have to change.
It keeps you motivated, getting up and doing your ab blast.
It is. It is.
All right,
you know?
we need to take a break before you get into it.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to give you some more positive stuff. We've been negative now most of the show. So we want to get some positive stuff, some positive thinking.
And maybe we'll start with a little prayer. That's after this.
Absolutely.
We need to start this. Tom Young is my guest. It's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Take a break.
How long is the prayer?
Hey, if you want something at the end, or because I'm done with spots. So do you want Curtis to run something at the very end?
It's probably easier if we bail a minute or two early. It gives him something to juggle, to hit. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather give him a minute and a half to juggle with some different bumps.
I got a clock here in front of me, so I can see the time.
I just got to go in the other room to make sure I put it back on. You know what I mean? I got to get back on our air.
I'm going to talk. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to let him talk.
Okay.
I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try what Tom just said. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to make more money today. And I'm going to see if Mark flinches somewhere. Feels a twitch.
But see, Eddie, you don't know where it'll come from.
That's true. That's too narrow thinking.
And I challenge you, look back at times in your life. And I'm sure there were a few times that good things happened unexpectedly. There it was.
And I mean, so good, not necessarily hugely good, but good to the point where it's like, wow,
I keep yelling
that's kind of cool. Me?
These levels, when you you listen to commercials?
Huh.
compared
I got a
to
check the other day that I had no idea somebody was sending me a check. It's like, all right, it's 130 bucks. So what?
Hey,
It's 130 bucks.
absolutely.
It's like, or when you go and you
So
think
if it come from nowhere, did it go into savings or did you
it
figure?
went into savings.
Okay, okay.
I've got my life account and my, when I snap and need money to go on the Ron account,
All right,
two
so you
different
can
accounts.
run
It went into the snap account.
the Sounds of Faith promo.
Well, see that clock up there is pretty close to my clock
Yeah,
out here.
got it.
Then,
Well, folks, we shared a lot today. We're gonna wrap this thing up, and I think we'll take the roof off before we leave today.
I'm starting to fire. I'm
Yeah,
starting to fire. I don't know.
I hope I've given you some stuff to talk about in your next hour.
Sadly, I'd rather talk about what we just talked about than what I have to talk about.
see, look how hot that is compared to where it's supposed to be.
Come on, man. We're allowed to have an Asian festival, but we can't upset the carp by calling them Asian carp, but we can eat them as long as it's dignified. That's 2 hours.
So, I don't, it needs a little out.
As an English lit
That's the
major,
whole thing's wrong. That's not on you.
growing
That's on the
up,
person sitting here.
words are words. And when we start assigning too
All right,
much
we're gonna have a
power
10
to
second
them,
liner coming out of this.
I'm going when you point. And when you say 1 minute,
All right, here
I'm
comes the liner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
It's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. I'm Eddie Crow. With me this first hour, Tom Young has been my guest, and that continues here for a little bit more. We're on Facebook live feeding. We're on Tom's Facebook live feeding. We're on 4 or 5 different platforms with Tom live feeding. And we've been talking about poverty thinking. It's been an interesting day. We've had a few different conversations go on, and I've
Absolutely.
learned a lot, and I got more
Absolutely.
questions.
Well, let me go back to the beginning of the show,
All right.
and we're going to start something new today. We're going to do it every month going forward, and we start with prayers. We pray for everybody in the world.
Good.
You know, this COVID China virus, I don't care what you want to call it, was launched on the world, and millions of people have now died from it, and it's still there. It hasn't gone away. So everybody needs prayers in the world. In addition to that, we pray for those that have been lost and the people that have lost loved ones. The Lord would gather them into his arms, take them into heaven above. In Jesus' name we pray. How's that, Eddie? That's how I start.
Why
every
haven't
show
we
every
been
day.
doing that?
I don't know.
Why
But
haven't we
today
need to-
is a new beginning.
Yeah.
And the radio shows, we will start every radio show with that prayer because it is necessary.
I just flashed back to a whole lot of meals I had as a kid. A lot of meals. Now, I wasn't the one talking. I was the one keeping my head down, wondering when we was going to be allowed to get to the biscuits. But that is it. I think anytime you're on, think of it like this. If it's good enough for you to start your day with, it's good enough to start when we have time together, don't you think?
Yeah.
And you know me well enough to know the chances of me getting up an extra minute to pray is 50-50 at best. I got to feed cats and scratch and things like that. Let's do that, yeah?
It is absolute. You know,
All right.
let me share some very positive statements.
Okay.
Now this is recorded, so you can go back and listen over and over again. I am open and receptive to all good and abundance in the universe. Thank you, life.
I love
Life
that.
will hear you and respond. I am a magnet for money. Prosperity of every kind is drawn to me. I think big, and then I allow myself to accept even more good from life. Wherever it is that I work, I am deeply appreciated and well compensated. Today is a delightful day. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I have unlimited choices. Opportunities are everywhere. I truly believe that we are here to bless and prosper each other. I reflect this belief in my daily interactions. I support others in becoming prosperous, and in turn, life supports me in wondrous ways. I now do work I love, and I am well paid for it. And I got, you know, it's just it is amazing.
Positive thoughts.
Positive thoughts, and if you work at this on a daily basis, I guarantee you, this is the stuff that saved my life 30 years ago when I was on the edge of destruction.
Right.
And the first book was I read Think and Grow Rich 40 years ago when I started in sales in the insurance business. And my attitude was I read the book,
Right.
and then I said, okay, fix me.
All right. I read the book.
I read the book, I'm fixed.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that way. And then eventually when I met Jody, my first real mentor in my life, and you know, he said, Tom, the secret of the book, and I found this in the book, Napoleon Hill said this, you got to read the book 3 times in succession.
Okay.
So my original book, I still have, it has 3 different highlight colors in it. Each time I read the book, I highlighted different things that I didn't highlight the first time through. And when I got through the 3rd time in the book, things started to change in my life for the good. I mean, it was really about attitude. Most people, my opinion, most people, I believe their biggest problem is their attitude. They don't see themselves as being worthy.
Right.
In other words, a lot of times, and we all have skeletons in the closet from the past in our lives.
Sure.
And I think sometimes we allow those skeletons out of the closet into our mind, and they actually cause us to think less of ourselves, and therefore we don't believe we're worthy.
I'm not a good person. Anybody that would do that stupid thing when you were a kid, well, only a bad idiot person would do that. And
you got it, Eddie.
And that's carved in stone in your head.
You got it. Now, we only got a couple minutes, and I want to finish up today with this.
Okay.
5 signs you may have a poverty mindset.
Okay.
You lack ambition.
No,
You are
good.
pessimistic and self-pitying.
No, wait. All right. I don't lack ambition. I am ambitious. If it interests me, I am.
Okay.
I am pessimistic, but I'm not self-pitying. I assume the worst
I'm
is
not
going to go.
talking to
but
you,
I'm not,
Eddie.
I know.
I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to myself. But remember, Eddie, when you point your finger, there's always 3 pointing
back at you.
3 pointing back.
Yep.
You are a deeply jealous person.
No, I'm
you
really not.
make decisions based on fear, false evidence appearing real. You focus on what you don't have, not what you do have, and that's where gratitude mentality. In other words, being thankful for what you have.
It could be worse.
Because, you know, I heard this setting one time, and I think 1 out of 16 babies are born in the USA. So you could be in Bangladesh.
It could be. I could have landed worse.
But anyway, we're gonna end there today. I've got a lot more. So catch me at noon today on my Facebook Live. We're going to continue this story there. God bless. We'll see you next month, Eddie, and we will start every show
with a prayer.
With prayers.
Tom Young has been my guest. It never ceases to amaze me. I learn things when Tom's here, and a lot of times the stuff I learned, I didn't even know I didn't know, if that makes any sense.
New book. This isn't mine. This is Kim Butler, just released. Change your life. Understand multi-generational wealth creation.
It is Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. That may have been my favorite one that we've done.
It's time to get real, Eddie.
Yeah.
It's time to get real.
As the saying goes, I believe, Vonnegut had a character in his book that would never use profanity in the Army. And he said it's very important that you understand exactly what I'm saying. Profanity might confuse you. It could get you
that was part of my topic today, to talk about profanity, because when you do that, you grow worms in your brain.
Yeah, but
we'll see at noon, folks.
The character wouldn't use profanity because he said that's